Hey guys, this is GamerCal. Welcome back to Pokemon Platinum Fandom Nuzlocke. Last time we basically went through to reach Roark in the mine, and we learned a bit about coal, and it was pretty cool. Also saw what Rock Smash could do. It's a move that smashes rocks. Who would have ever guessed? So now we need to go to the gym and take him on, so that we can actually use Rock Smash for ourselves. So now we do not have Timmy in the way, and we can just go for it. So, like most first gyms, and like most rock gyms in that sense, actually, you can just go ahead and skip the trainers if you want, but that's boring, so yeah, we avoided the long way around because we can. But yeah, it doesn't take longer because obviously you've got to do the fights, but it is less steps to just go this way, so whatever. So, everybody I'm using is level 13 except for Driver and Banner. Banner got to level 14 because I happened to switch to him and all of that, but yeah, we're basically just going to go ahead and deal with some of the stuff here. Now, these Pokemon from the gym leader at least are going to be slightly higher level than us, but this will also be the first time that we get to see just what sort of state the gym leader's mons are in. Now, a lot of the gym leader Pokemon, not necessarily here, but even here, they tend to have higher base stat totals than a lot of the Pokemon you see otherwise around here. Stuff like Cranidos originally here, Roserade, Mismagius, you know, even Luxray later on, you know, stuff like that. They tend to have higher stat totals than what we are used to seeing here. So that may well come into play a little bit. We might see a much stronger Pokemon than we are used to seeing here, and that would be kind of scary, but not too bad. So I don't think I want to use Astonish here, even though Thundershock is going to be a lot less powerful because of the whole paralysis thing here. I really don't want to trigger Static because I don't want to go back and heal if I can help it. So yeah, we're just gonna do that. Now, I could have actually leveled up Mareep and Turtwig to evolution state before coming in here, and that would have been the smart thing to do, but since when are we ever about the smart things, right? And we do at least get Driver up a level, which is pretty swell. Level 13 is not a time when they learn moves, but you know what, that is fine. I don't think Bruneri can actually hurt me either. Having a ghost type this early in the game is exceptionally good, especially one like Rotom that is rather powerful for the moment too. Like, this Thundershock hurts a lot more than the average attack that we would have. So yeah, that is a very, very solid trait to have around. But I don't think this is going to be the lead Pokemon for our match against Roark over here, because yeah, we just want to show that these are the Pokemon I have right now. I've decided not to use Miltank just yet because I don't feel like it's really worth using immediately. Like, it's not a terrible Pokemon, but I feel like in this game it's going to be too difficult to get in moves and stuff. So yeah, this is Oreburgh's gym, and we are now going to face against Roark and his non-rock Pokemon. Well, we'll see if they are still rocks, but normally this would be the rock type trainer, but apparently he's called Zoe in this game, so heck yeah, Performer Zoe, oh man. And it's a Spheal. Okay, so Spheal is pretty cool. It does have the super effective ice attacks, but I have Razor Leaf. So Razor Leaf is pretty good. It's a physical type attack, 55 base power, only 95 accuracy, so it does have that tendency to miss, but it has a good crit rate as well, so it's a solid move. I do like it, and as all games, you do have potions and stuff getting used all the time here as well, so that kind of sucks when your attack stat has been lowered. But I think he only has the one potion to use here, so we'll just use the 100% accurate absorb. It's the only move I have that guarantees a hit here, so yeah, it's not so great having special attacks on Donatello over here because he's really not a special attacker, especially not with a careful nature. But that's just what we have. We have a love disc. Oh man, truly the most terrifying of opponents. So Lobdisk actually has takedown at this level, which is kind of powerful, but it is a Lobdisk. It has the same base attack as a Caterpie, so not exactly too threatened by it, but takedown is pretty powerful, so that is something at the very least. You know, it did a lot of damage for the 2 attacks that it got to do. Kind of scary in a way, like that's the most damage Lobdisk is ever gonna do, I think. But my physical defense is still pretty solid here, and we do get an extra level up, which is good. So level 14, and now we have the last Pokemon is Corsola. Alright, so there is not a type theme to this thing, as much as it, you know, this is sort of interesting in the sense of they're all water types, but I did not check the type theme gym leader thing here, so this is more luck than anything that they just so happened to be this state. I guess Loftus replaced Cranidos as his most powerful Pokemon, so whatever. Razor Leaf should do pretty much all the damage here because it is 4 times effective, but Corsola does have pretty solid defense, so there is that. However, it's not going to do enough damage to outdo Turtwig here, and even if you potion up, I do not care because Absorb is still 4 times effective as well, and that should definitely heal me up a little bit, and then Razor Leaf can finish things off. Just wanted to make absolute sure that if he did use the potion, then I wouldn't, if I missed a Razor Leaf, I wouldn't die to like a crit something or another. You know, like maybe freaking 5 hits on Spike Cannon or something like that if it had it at that stage. So yeah, that was the anticlimactic first gym, but hey, that's what happens sometimes, you know. These ones are also gonna still be kind of low power. However, the next gym could be a lot tougher that way because, like I said, Roserade was originally the ace Pokemon at that stage, and yeah, that's gonna be a thing. So yeah, we have defeated the leader, so we get our official Coal badge. It's not quite as cool as nowadays where you get to see the badge, like, you know, come out and everything. But yeah, we also get a TM, which is Stealth Rock, I believe. Yeah, there you go. So if the Pokemon on the enemy side switches in, then they take some damage. It's pretty much the most broken move in single player like ever. Competitive battles, that is. It's not particularly great in VGC because you don't have as many Pokemon to switch between, and usually you don't really want to care about stuff like that, but you just don't have the time. But you do have the time in singles, and switching is really frequent, and it's basically defined the game ever since it came out. It's also worth noting that Pokemon which are weak to it will take more damage. It's a base 1/8 of your HP, but it scales based on your weakness or resistance to rock types. But it also can be learned by, I think in this game, obviously this includes evolutions of the same families, but I think in this game it could be learned by about 140 different Pokemon. It was actually really ridiculous how many Pokemon could learn Stealth Rock. It's kind of extremely cheap. Anyway, we have dealt with pretty much all of the things that we can do in this place right now, so we just have to do a gym fight thing that we've already done. But no, I think we have to do stuff with you, right? 10 seconds, 9, blah blah blah. Who's got time? Nobody, that's who. No, you don't actually want to fight this in the moment. Fair enough.
So, like you said, we need to go up from Team Galactic this way. Ooh, Alphos. Nice. Yeah, we're going that way so that we can get ourselves through the cave and everything. We have already gone for Pokemon stuff there, so there won't be any new Pokemon to catch for a while. You know what, I do want to knock this thing out, but it's gonna take, you know what, whatever, I can use Razor Leaf, it won't take too long. Just please don't run away, that would be great. Of course. Of course you do. Whatever. So yeah, that's why I'm not getting any more Pokeballs at the moment, because I really don't see the need to. I'm not going to be catching any new Pokemon anytime soon, although I could. There is one place I could go to get Pokemon that we have not already done, and that would be Sand Gym, actually. We got the
So basically, once you've done the first gym, so I never really mentioned the music here. The music is absolutely awesome in this place. There's a really, really cool remix of it around. But yeah, once you've done the first gym, as we will demonstrate shortly when we go down to the basement level, you can get yourself the power pad. And that will let you, if you're playing on the actual console, you'll be able to do online trading and stuff, except you can't anymore because the game is no longer featured on stuff because it's a DS title and they shut the servers down for that. So heck yeah, but we'll still show this bit off anyway. And yeah, this is Taylor, and that's where we get the power pad from. So you would normally go into this, you would register friend codes and stuff like that. You could register 32 at a time, and it was actually, back in the DS days, it was actually game locked. So every game required you to have different friend codes and stuff, which was really obnoxious. Let's just put it that way. So, with that all out of the way, yeah, I would say this game's music is really, really good. Also, we need to do this now because we have to have our main antagonists come in. Painful time for your assistant. That is kind of obnoxious. Yep. Yep. That sounds about right. Why must you be so difficult? Yeah. Will you just go away already? That's what he's trying to say here. Don't loiter, don't interrupt. Don't get, if you don't get away, don't try and screw people over. Yep, group mentality, blah blah blah. That's not really a life lesson, but okay, that works. Call yourselves adults. Oh man. And that's gonna be it. You had to make this personal now. Yep. So Team Galactic is our team for here. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ourselves into the first double battle of the generation here. Or at least this game. And this is Gen Bob and Gen Ed. Oh, the names are so awesome. Alright, so that Abra is not a threat at all. It will only have teleport, so we should focus our efforts on the Stunky. Also, good to note that Dawn has the other starter when you play this normally. So we would have chosen Chimchar, and then we'd be up against Piplup. Timmy, she would have had Turtwig, and Turtwig's spot was taken by Trico. So she actually has Trico in her arsenal now, which is really cool. And like I said, oh, please paralyze yourself on me. That would be very, very nice. Static Rock. Nope. Oh well. Doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and get the damage out here. Nothing really too dangerous on the enemy side. Leer and Growler moves like that actually hit both enemies in doubles, which is really cool. So that's a very solid thing to have around. And we're just gonna take this minimal damage to the face, and you are gonna get yourself paralyzed, which is really cool. And yeah, eventually we'll get to attack again, and then we shall win. So yeah, this is our Team Rocket for the game. They do have an overarching goal, and what I do like, it started in Gen 3, like after Team Rocket weren't in the game stuff anymore. Also, in this game, you can't actually choose a non-target thing. In the more recent games, if you choose a Pokemon that doesn't exist on the field, then it will automatically just target the other Pokemon or the closest other target on their field if it's in triples. I don't actually know exactly how it all works in triples, because triples is weird, but basically in this game you actually have to select a Pokemon that's still there, but they let you shortcut it in the recent games, which is cool. But yeah, it started more in Gen 4 and Gen 3 with Team Aqua, Team Magma, but the actual evil team stuff is a really good overarching goal type thing in these games now, rather than just being an evil team, you know? Like, Team Rocket kind of had a goal, but it wasn't really story focused at all. nowadays it really is inbuilt into the story that, you know, this team is trying to do this thing against the world, and hey, Reaper's evolving, heck yeah. And really it actually sort of adds a purpose to the evil team stuff, which is obviously a very good thing for the progression of these games. And I guess it's just a natural way that the games themselves will evolve, you know, to actually focus their efforts a bit more, which is fine. Anyway, we now have ourselves a Fluffy, which is cool. And yeah, right, okay, whatever. Yeah, so apparently the way this works is that there's some sort of energy on evolution, and Team Galactic want to try and control that energy for some reason. So, blah blah blah, yep, Professor studies evolution. Most of the professors do have some sort of speciality, I believe, and I thought it was actually Professor Elm that was supposed to be the evolutionist, but I guess Rowan does it as well, so yeah. Lots and lots of Pokemon do evolve, which is fine, and yeah, it's kind of unforgivable, and nothing came out of it, so yeah, we are going to do that. That is kind of something we are forced to do, and maybe one of these days Pokemon will actually have a way of not, like, forcing that, but not that I mean, I would do it anyway, but, you know, like, there'd be, in the anime and stuff, it's not like you have to do battles all the time, right? You can do other stuff, like Dawn being a coordinator and whatnot. And I kind of wish that, you know, they let you do that a bit more in these games, like you choose your destiny sort of thing with it, but I imagine that would be ridiculously hard to do. So I don't know, maybe they could take a lot of time into a future game and do that. That'd be really neat. They'd probably have to split their resources too much though. Anyway, we're gonna set us a fashion case for decoration stuff. I don't really care about that too much though. And we already did some of this stuff here. We didn't actually do all of the battles apparently. Oh man, a Magikarp, how terrifying. So Magikarp being such a low base stat total Pokemon probably isn't going to get replaced by very much, but Pichu is equally low in base stats and everything, so yeah, I guess Pichu kinda counts. It does have static, so I still don't really want to make contact with it if I can help it. Plus I can just crit it and kill it with one Thunder Shot, that works too. Rip Pichu, I guess. So yeah, Pichu kinda goes down and blah blah blah, you lost, deal with it. And yeah, we've already gotten the Pokemon from here. I don't think I did, yep, didn't do the trainer fight we used, so I suppose we have to deal with that as well. Ace Trainer Liliana has a Bronzor. Okay, Bronzor is actually quite an interesting Pokemon. Steel Psychic with Levitate or Heat Proof, depending on you know, your preferences. Levitate is the better ability, but Heat Proof is really cool for, you know, making you think that it has Levitate, and so you hit it with the only other type that it was weak to in this gen, before Gen 6 at least, and yeah, it was kind of funny to see that. But it's really annoying in the main game because it has Hypnosis and Confuse Ray and all sorts of stupid stuff, and it's kind of hard to kill because it's like very, very defensive. It doesn't do much damage though, and that's just what makes it really annoying. Also, Team Galactic I think had a massive habit of using it, so it got obnoxious because of that. Anyway, we actually did catch Stantler in here before, so Cubone, unfortunately I cannot go ahead and catch you. Pokemon in here are not really worth fighting because they're too low a level at this point, so we're not going to bother that. The way that we need to go is to the right, but if you go to the left, there is actually a little bit of stuff here. Most of it you cannot access at the moment, however, because of the water there. So we shall go ahead and deal with that later, but I do want to grab the item, as Zigzagoon is there. I actually wouldn't mind Zigzagoon, if only because it has Pickup, and Pickup is a really cool ability. But knowing my luck, I would get one with Gluttony, because I think that's possible in this gen, and yeah. But for doing this, you get Rock Tomb, which is a TM I'm going to have to use later. It's nowhere near as good in these gens as it is in Gen 6. They massively buffed the move in Gen 6, but in Gens 3 to 5, where the move existed otherwise, it is a 50 base power move with only 80% accuracy, and it guarantees a speed drop. In Gen 6, it is 60 base power and 95 accuracy with that guaranteed speed drop, so it's much better in the most recent gen. But unfortunately we cannot have that right now, so instead we have to fight with leader Marcellus, setting our Meditite, okay. And as you can tell, of course, these are going to be stronger trainers slightly because we are higher up in the thing, and we're slightly further on, past the point where we had to have the first gym badge, but they're still really weak for just now. Like, we had to deal with level 12 and 14 from the gym, so if you're not prepared for this stuff, then you're doing something kind of wrong. Let's just put it that way. Buju, I do kind of want to tackle. It might have poison point, which would suck, but it's gonna paralyze me with stun spore anyway, so nuts to you, Voodoo. You are just kind of obnoxious, but hey. How much damage will this absorb do? That is my question here, because if it does, it only gets to heal 1 HP from that. I think I'll be able to out-tackle it. It might take a couple of turns, it'll take longer obviously if I get paralyzed, but we'll just hope that doesn't happen. And we'll basically be at the next little town place in a minute or two. But I guess it depends on the length of time it takes to get through the other stuff here, like the grass and everything. We could end up having like 500 encounters in the grass and it'd just be really stupid. But I mean, random encounter stuff in this game is usually not that bad, although it isn't as nice as it is in Gen 6 and whatnot. But again, I feel like Gen 6 did a lot of different things that way, which made the games much faster paced. So there is that. Donatello is actually only 1 level away from evolving itself, so we will go ahead and use that just now. Of course, get ourselves an awakening to cure sleep, which is pretty good. And this is another trainer to fight. There's also a double battle up top there, so let me show off my bug Pokemon, which may not even be bugs anymore. Well, they may be entirely different bugs to what you had before. Engineers, oh man. Yep, not a bug. Although it basically is as weak as a bug. So, yeah, Magikarp only has Splash until level 15, where it gets Tackle, and then it gets Flail at level 30, and I think it gets Bounce. I don't remember when it gets Bounce actually, maybe 45? It might just stick with that. But yeah, it gets Bounce later on, which is kind of fun. And that is pretty much it. Yep, and Kakuna, because it is actually an evolved Pokemon, will only have Harden. It will not have access to Poison Sting or String Shot. Or Bug Bite. I think Bug Bite was learned in this gen by these guys, but it does not have access to them because it started as an evolution. If this was the trainer's actual Pokemon, then it would have Poison Sting and String Shot, I believe. But because this is a randomizer, it can only take what the Pokemon learns itself. It's like the last 4 moves at the level that it's at. So that's one of the limitations of the system, but I don't see how you would be able to do it differently. Unless you gave every Pokemon a random 4 moves from their entire learn set, but I imagine that might be quite difficult to code. So yeah, I mean, it's a Java program that randomizes the stuff. You could probably do it. But, like I said, I imagine that would be kind of tough to do. What is... I really don't want a paralyzed Pokemon to come out as my one. So we'll have Bugsy come out, because, you know, Heracross is pretty cool. I don't even have to do the fight, technically, but I may as well just to get this route completed. Also, we get Bullet Seed here, which is pretty cool. This was pre-Gen 5, however, so Bullet Seed only has 10 base power per hit in this gen. So it's really not a particularly strong move. Like, I wouldn't use Bullet Seed in this format, so unless you absolutely had to. I would not use it. You can see there's a cut bush there as well. That'll be something we need to deal with later. I don't see how you are going to one-shot me, but okay, if you believe so. Also, well, with wind and stuff going on, my door is kind of going to and fro there, which is kind of annoying. Wow, you have a Dragonair? Seriously? The hell? Where the hell did that come from? Okay, sure, random Dragonair. Razor Leaf actually hits both opponents in doubles, so it'll be weaker, 75% of its regular strength, but that's okay. It'll still hurt a decent bit, and yeah, geez, freaking Dragonair, man. So Thunder Wave gonna come out. Unfortunately, I do not have Guts on my Heracross, so that is going to be a significant annoyance. And looks like they both went Thunder Wave onto Bugsy over there, which is kind of funny. You would think that it would, you know, they would do a little bit different. Wow, that crit almost taking out Dragonair there. Kind of fun. And I think this will basically be it as far as these two are concerned. But you can see this is a much stronger trainer than before. Also, Twister is a move that hits both opponents in doubles as well, and it has a decent flinch rate. I think it's a 20% flinch chance. So Twister's annoying, you know, just put it that way. But whatever. Dragonair of course manages to avoid a 95% accuracy, but so long as I don't get paralyzed with Bugsy, who does level up as well, which is pretty good. So long as he doesn't get, she doesn't get paralyzed, which she does not, then Dragonair goes down as well. And yeah, that twins at this level with a level 11 Dragonair. Huh. Kind of intriguing how that works. I think it was possible to have that sort of level of Dragonair in Gen 2, right? Or maybe not, I don't remember, but I'm sure there was a way that you could fish out a really low level Dragonair in one of the games. But anyway, this is our next town, Floaroma Town. But we are going to deal with that next time, because that is a pretty good amount of stuff to have done. We did the gym, we got across to the to Jubilife again, dealt with our first encounter with Team Galactic. Do not worry, there will be plenty more of those coming up soon. And we have ourselves an evolution. So now our Shauna is a slightly bolder sheep than she was before. Literally. So, this has been Game Account playing Pokemon Platinum with Random Nuzlocke, and next time we'll take on Floaroma Town, and probably move a bit further on than that as well. We'll see all of the sites around here. It's a fun place to go, so yeah, tune in for that next time.